Hey all you nerds, Gabe aka Froopy Art here, and welcome back to our Gravity Falls Encrypted inspired Pokemon region. In the previous episode, you met up with Looker and entered a secret buried extraterrestrial craft. You've run into the Cypher Squad, who appear to be harvesting some otherworldly metal alloy here. Oh, and before we jump into the story, I have just one more thing. You've probably noticed that I don't really make a big deal about subscribing, but I figured I would make an exception since this is the halfway point for the Pokemon Eclipse series. So, if you are enjoying the story that we're telling, consider subscribing. This series is a lot of work for me, and I would really appreciate the support. Okay, enough of that. Let's go.
All right, you lot. What do you think you're doing here?
Not you again.
We just can't get away from this dumb kid, and now they've got some more official-looking help.
Official looking, eh? Well, the name's actually Looker. I'm with Interpol, sent to investigate your organization's criminal behavior. Now, what are you doing down here? What are you taking there?
None of your business. Goody goody. We ain't breaking any laws here.
Yeah, we're just collecting some rare minerals. If the boss wants some shiny metal, we get them shiny metal.
And what does this boss of yours want with all these materials? I've been tracking your activity across the region, and all of the materials you've been taking.
Enough with the questions already.
We don't have time to talk with you two. Either beat it or you'll be sorry.
You and Looker stand your ground, and the grunts throw out Pokemon to battle you. Snooton, Hoaxian Trubbish, Mushy Mind, and Dweebip are a pain to deal with, but you take them all out.
Can't you just leave us in peace?
Let's get out of here. But before we go, here's a little present from the boss.
The Cypher Squad grunts pull a small device from their pocket and power it on. You recognize it as a MUW, or Micro Ultra Wormhole, that can summon Ultra Beasts. A small Ultra Wormhole tears open in front of you, and the Cypher Squad flees.
I'm going after them. I trust you to take care of whatever comes through that.
He chases after the grunts and leaves you alone as something claws its way into your dimension. You know what? Let's really push what an Ultra Beast can be with this one. We're going to very loosely adapt the Bloody Mary urban legend. I have this image in my head of a floating mirror with something trying to claw its way out. I also know that people have been clamoring for me to work the Gravity Falls henchmaniacs into the region somehow, so this is giving me a try with the character Teeth. Here's just, teeth, and the idea of the teeth, they're kind of like sliding out of the mirror. It's kind of creepy. I like it. Now, the Bloody Mary urban legend doesn't have exact origins and seems to be a combination of, there's a similar Japanese myth and some various European and American stories, witches and violent rulers and whatnot. I wanted to at least nod to Mary Tudor with the little crown. And then after that, the biggest challenge is just rendering that liquid metal. And as a last-minute addition, I found that I needed to put something that would at least suggest eyes, because the design is already really strange. It needed something to kind of ground it. I may be pushing things a bit too far, but let's learn about Murkrool, the reflection Pokemon. UB Mirror's anatomy has researchers stumped. Body, eyes, teeth, tongue, and claws all merge together into an amorphous metallic disc. When Murkrool grabs prey, it pulls them into its mouth, where they disappear momentarily from our plane of existence. When their target is spat back up, they are shook by the unseen horrors held within. The ability is contrary, so that means that stat changes have the opposite effect on this Pokemon, and the hidden ability is Beast Boost. It's a very tough Ultra Beast, but using your trusty starter Pokemon, you are able to emerge victorious. And to your delight, you find that your starter is evolving into its final stage. First up, let's jump back on the Jackalope train. Now, you'll see that we're also bringing in another big inspiration for each of our final stages. They each get a concept tied to general cryptid culture. Since Hoax region is all about cryptids after all. And our electric bunny gets to represent the actual, factual scientists and researchers. These are the people who approach cryptids with an appropriate amount of skepticism and actually require evidence. So, by making our bunny a lop, meaning it has long droopy ears, we can get the overall shape of a lab coat. After that, we've got some nerdy and cute glasses, and lastly, this is borrowing a bit from my actual favorite Pokemon design, Raboot, but this cool researcher just needs some pockets. Now, I had a pretty good handle on this design and the colors early on, but I ended up redrawing this design 3 stinking times. It's a fairly complex design for Pokemon, and I had to find just the right pose and proportions that communicated exactly how the ears and the tail and everything actually relate to one another. Let's go ahead and meet our grass starter's final stage. This is Skeptilop, the innovation Pokemon. This incredibly resourceful grass type is always looking for an edge in battle. Skeptilop search their surroundings for useful berries and items, which they store in their fluffy pockets on their legs. The horns on their heads can store vast amounts of electricity, and they will excitedly dash into thunderstorms and leap into lightning bolts to absorb their charge. The ability is competitive, so that raises the special attack stat by 2 stages whenever it's hit by a move that lowers its stats. The other optional abilities are Overgrow and Cute Charm, and the stats are pretty frail, but it is the fastest starter Pokemon, and honestly one of the fastest Pokemon overall. Using Skeptilop would be all about, getting in and out quick, doing some damage with grass, electric, psychic, and fairy moves, and, probably doing some shenanigans with Volt Switch or manipulating stats with the ability. I'd also love for it to have a signature move, but I don't know exactly what that would be. Maybe something that swaps abilities, or I don't know, something else tricksy like that. If you have ideas, I would love to hear them down in the comments. I am very happy with how this bunny turned out. I put a lot of pressure on myself since I generally pick grass starters. I also just absolutely love rabbits, and the nerdy skeptic thing is totally my jam. I think it landed somewhere that checks all those boxes. But I don't know, you'll have to let me know. What do you think? If you picked Little Shrubun way back at the start, are you digging this nerd? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our Fire Goat. Ah, yeah. Who is ready for the Jersey Devil proper? Now, just like Skeptilop, this line also gets some cryptid culture inspiration. In particular, this is our gullible, conspiracy-spewing rustic hillbilly. I know that sounds like a little much, but we're having fun. Give him some little overalls and even a scruffy little beard, and, we're definitely getting there. Now, the feet are kind of odd, as this flying type actually rockets around because of those flames. This is a pretty extreme way to get around, but we're playing up another aspect of the line that it isn't really cryptidy, but it is fun, and that is the idea of a daredevil, like good old Evel Knievel. So, it's just having fun and being destructive. This is another design that I just had to do another pass on. In general, I don't spend nearly as much time on my Pokemon designs as I would like, but these are the starters, and in my opinion, they are the absolute most important designs for a region. More so than legendaries or anything else, the starter lines kind of need to be perfect. So you'll see when I show the final art here in a second, but I had to tweak how busy the horns were and change the contrast on the wings so the arm doesn't get lost. Good changes overall. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Kidevil, the daredevil Pokemon. Now sporting giant red-hot wings, this playful goat is now able to soar through the sky with some level of control. Kid Evil's superheated hooves provide thrust, but burn the ground whenever it touches down. As destructive as ever, this fire type laughs joyously as it crashes through obstacles and opponents with reckless abandon. The ability is Rock Head, so that protects it from all recoil moves, which it will get plenty of, and the other optional abilities are Blaze and Unaware. So the stats and the ability let Kid Evil be a pretty no-nonsense damage dealer. By ignoring recoil and with a serious attack stat, you can just straight up plow through most opponents. It's also slow enough that you could run it in a Trick Room team, and then it can destroy stuff, with its fire, flying, dark, and fighting type attacks. And again, I feel like this needs a signature move. I don't know, something probably related to recoil or maybe not. I don't know. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them down below. So if Skeptalop was our cute design, this is 100% our goofball design. I'm happy with the personality that is showing through here. I mean, how can you not love this, reckless doofus? So if you picked little Flambilly at the start, how are you feeling about this cannonball of a Pokemon? Let me know your thoughts, down in the comments. But let's go ahead and hop into our final starter. So what are we adding to our Sea Serpent Nessie design? Well, to tie into cryptid culture again, we just need to play up the idea of, secret societies, cover-ups, conspiracies, and shady figures with ill intentions, all that good stuff. And dang, does the ghost type not work perfect for this? Yeah, it's just good stuff. So our man in black look is pretty easy to achieve with the spirit shawl draped around our design, kind of like a cloak or a trench coat. And then we get that dope rim of the hat, and then a little ornamentation on the chest, kind of suggests a tie. Yeah, we've got a real slick customer here. And I know this is definitely kind of stepping on Intellion's toes as the James Bond secret agent thing. But since I am not a huge fan of Intellion's design, I am definitely fine with it. In fact, to quote Angel from our Discord, when he saw this design early, he said, "Intellion found dead in a ditch." All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and meet the new agent on the scene. This is Conspector, the covert Pokemon. Walls of thick, eerie fog precede this mysterious ghost type's arrival. It prefers to stay hidden, clad in a cloak of concentrated spiritual energy, which allows it to hide effortlessly in the shadows. Conspector shrugs off most attacks, and its wide variety of moves makes it nearly impossible to predict in battle. It will protect its friends no matter the means and no matter the cost. The ability is Infiltrator, which means that it basically ignores the effects of Reflect, Light Screen, and Safeguard. So it's going to hit you. It's going to hit you no matter what. And then its other optional abilities are Torrent and Swift Swim. It is decently bulky, but other than that, the stats are relatively balanced. I want this to be very versatile, depending on how you train it and what moves you give it. Lots of moves to choose from, water, ghost, fighting, poison, etc. And I think it also needs a signature move. I don't know, kind of related to it having Infiltrator. Maybe its signature move doesn't do a ton of damage, but it can hit through Protect or around Substitute or something. Let me know what you come up with down in the comments. Conspector definitely completes our starter trio as the undeniably cool one. But if you picked Koibra at the start, how are you feeling about your mysterious partner now? Anyone out there changed their starter choice now that you have seen the final stages? Oh, and don't worry, these three still have some surprises in store. I mean, eventually we'll have to give them some Beast Merge forms. But let's get back to the story at hand. There is no doubt in your mind that whatever is going on with the Cypher Squad, it's getting serious. Now, you've completely lost Looker, but decide that it is best for you to fill in the professor on everything going on. You make your way back out of the buried craft and back up to the surface and head back to the research shack. We'll pick up from there in the next episode, but before we go, let's actually check in on the decks. It's really nice to have finally filled in those empty spots with the starters, but we've got a lot of work to go still. This is episode 25 of 50, so we are officially halfway through the series. With the gaps we have left, we'll definitely start getting more evolutions than new Pokemon, so you'll have to let me know if there are any evolutions that you are really looking forward to. Okay. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the series. It really does help me out. There is a new puzzle added to the Discord server, so check out the video descriptions for details on how to join all of the fun that we're having there. All right, I will catch you in the next one. Later, nerds.